Hey guys, are you looking to build muscle in your butt, your glutes, your hips without weights? If so, this is an awesome yoga routine to do just that. No equipment required, no yoga experience, just do your best and follow along. This is an intense workout, but it is beginner friendly and it's short. So just do your best, make it to the end, press pause as needed. We're gonna get started on the ground on your butt. First pose is a bridge pose, and this is probably the most important exercise you can do to make sure that your glutes are working. So we're going to bring your feet in toward your butt, make sure that your toes are facing straight forward, press down through your feet, squeeze your butt muscles if you can. If you can't, we'll work on that. And then lift your hips off the floor. Make sure that your knees, your thighs are parallel to one another. Don't let them open up. Continue to push down through your toes. Squeeze your butt. Pretend like you're pinching a penny or pinching something thin between your butt cheeks. So you really want to squeeze there. Make sure you're not arching your back. So you want your back neutral. Think about reaching your tailbone toward your knees. And then keep your shoulders, keep your head, your neck relaxed on the ground. Breathe in and out of your nose. And as you exhale, think about squeezing your glutes a little bit more. If you don't quite have the awareness in your glutes yet, if you're trying but you mostly just feel your hamstrings, that's okay. We just need to practice this repeatedly, and then you'll be able to use your glutes with practice and with time. It takes about 4 weeks to develop more strength, so just be consistent. Try to do it 3 times per week if you can. All right, from here we're going to go to a single leg bridge. So press down through your left foot, bring your right foot out, hold it at about 6 inches off the ground. Continue to push down through your left foot. Now this is tiring, guys, but this is what we need to do to build strength. If you need to take a little break, take a little break, come back into it, that's fine. We're only here for 30 seconds. You can do these workouts multiple times per week. You can do this on your own or follow along. I would say you should follow along. It'll be easier. And again, 3 times per week, and make sure you're pushing yourself every time. All right, we're going to switch sides. Plant your right foot. Keep your hips level. Bring your left foot out. Make sure you're pushing down through the whole right foot, the toes, your heel, the ball mound of your foot. Keep your left hip level. Don't let it sink down. You should feel your glutes working, so the back of your butt, the outside of your hips, and your whole thigh will be working. Shouldn't be any pain in your lower back. If there is, check back in with technique. Make sure the hips are level. You're squeezing your thighs and squeezing your abs. Keep your neck and your shoulders relaxed. One more breath here. And then release all the way down. Nice job, guys. So hopefully glutes are turned on. Let's go into it. Stick with me to the end. We've got some really great exercises here. So we're going to go into a plank. And if you don't want to do plank, you can keep your knees down. And then from here, we're going to do some donkey kicks. So bring your left leg straight out and back off the floor. Again, you can do this with knees down or from a plank position. And then bring your heel in toward your butt. Inhale to get set. And then as you exhale, press your leg up as high as you can, squeezing your butt, and then releasing down. Exhale, press it back up, and then do 10 of these. So the slower you can go, the better, and you really want to focus on feeling this in your glutes, feeling this in your butt. Don't just turn your hip open. That's not going to help anybody. So make sure you're pressing your foot up as high as you can, like you were pushing it into somebody pushing back. Okay, so you want to be really intentional with pushing there. And again, if it starts to get challenging, that's good. That's where the muscles are going to grow. Keep in mind, you can also bring this knee down, and you can do this from a tabletop position. One more of these. And then release. All right, switching sides. So again, you can do this from the knees or from a plank. Bring your right leg up. Bring your heel in toward your butt. Keep your hands under your shoulders. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, push up with that leg, almost as if you were pushing into, maybe someone's pushing a book into your foot. And then come back down. Exhale, push up. Again, try to go slow here. Do your best to get up to 10. If you need to take your knees down, that's fine. This is about your glutes. So if the upper body and the core is getting tired, you're welcome to take your knee down. Make sure that you're pushing your legs straight up. You don't need to turn your hip open. Keep the hips facing down. And again, if you don't feel it in your glutes yet, it does take some time to develop this. But if you keep practicing, you're going to gain that awareness, and then you can really start to grow the muscles in your butt. One more. All right, release. We're going to go ahead and stand up, taking it into a squat hold here. So stand with your feet about 6 inches apart. Focus on putting the weight into your hips. So we're going to bring the butt down and back. Let your knees bend slightly forward. Keep your back flat here. So make sure that you're not rounding your back. You want to have your butt kind of poking out behind you. Bring your arms out in front of you. And you can go deeper to make this more challenging. You'll notice that as your knees come forward, your heels might want to come off the ground. Make sure that your heels stay down. For good glute engagement, you want your heels on the floor. Continue to breathe in and out of your nose. And if you notice yourself start to shake, that's a good thing. That's where muscle growth happens. So that shaking, that fatigue, being challenged, that's where you're going to build more muscle. And this is different from typical yoga, you'll probably notice. But that's a good thing. It means we're going to build more muscle than typical yoga. All right, from here, you want to keep your right leg as still as you can, and then shift that weight to your right leg. Slowly step your left foot back, coming into a high lunge. Now here, you want to keep that weight in the hips, so make sure you're not leaning forward. Keep your shoulders stacked on top of your hips. Allow your hips to sink down. Press down through your right foot. Squeeze your left glute by squeezing your left thigh in your glute. And you pushing your right foot into the ground is going to help you engage your right glute. You can bring your arms up here. We're only here for 2 breaths. All right. Come back to your squat hold. If you need a little break, you can stand up. Whew, little break. Now come back into your squat hold. Only here for 1 breath, just to kind of reset. Make sure that weight's back in the hips. Knees are relatively back, not letting them go too far forward, keeping your heels down. And then shift your weight to your left foot. Slowly step your right foot to the back, coming into a high lunge. Shoulders come on top of the hips. Make sure that your lower back is neutral. It shouldn't be arched. When you arch your back, that limits your glute engagement. That means we're not going to build as much butt muscle. So, again, try to keep that weight in the hips. Press down through your standing foot. Squeeze your right glute and your right thigh. The arms can come up. And again, only 2 breaths here. If you need a break, you can straighten the leg. Just give yourself a little break and then try and come back into it. But again, this is a short workout. Push yourself. It's intense, but this is where the growth happens. So push yourself. You guys can do this. Go ahead and stand up. All right, from here we're going to go into a horse or a goddess pose. This one I really like for building strength. It's also great for building hip mobility. So you're going to turn your toes out at about 45 degrees and then drop your hips down like so. Squeeze your knees toward the back, and that's what's going to engage the glutes. Okay, so make sure your knees aren't coming forward and in. Squeeze them back. Keep your shoulders on top of your hips the best you can, and really squeeze your glutes. Think about bringing your butt under your torso. You want to have a neutral pelvis here. Make sure it's not arched. Do your best to prevent arching. And then from here, you're going to kind of just go from side to side, shifting from one side to the other. Yes, this is a lot of work for your glutes. It's a lot of work for your hips and your thighs. But again, that's where the growth is going to happen. If this is too challenging for you, we've done a lot so far, it's intense, and we're only a few minutes in, go ahead and stand up, take a little break, and then come back into it. So you can do these little squats if it's too hard, or if you want to make it more challenging, stay in the goddess stance or the horse stance. All right, we've got 2 more breaths here, so about 20 seconds. Do your best. Keep squeezing the knees back. Keep the shoulders on top of the hips. If you ever feel like you're losing the pose, if you don't have enough stamina, just come back to your breathing. Breathing in and out of the nose, and that's going to help you hold it for longer. All right, go ahead and stand up. Nice work. From here, we're going to come back to the top of the mat. This is a really cool exercise. I like doing this to isolate your glutes. Super effective. So we're going to go into a chair pose, toes touching, heels 1 inch apart. Again, bring the knees slightly forward, bring your butt down and back. Squeeze your knees together, squeeze your inner thighs together. Keep your back flat. Your core should be engaged. You can bring your arms out in front of you to kind of start so we can focus on the hips instead of worrying about the shoulders. And then from here, I want you to put the weight into your left foot and then just lift your right foot off the ground. Holding here for about 10 seconds. Try to keep everything the same. The only thing that's changing, my right foot comes off the ground a little bit. Now we're going to switch sides, plant your right foot, shift the weight to your right, and then hover the left foot. 10 seconds here. Make sure that your back stays flat. Don't let your back round. Keep it strong. And then switch to your left. Again, really slowly, just shifting all the way to the left, keeping your hips squared forward. And this is really good for your outer glutes in particular. And that's going to help not only with building muscle size in your glutes, but also with supporting your knees and your back. Switch sides. And this is also going to translate to your other exercises. So if you do lift weights, if you do other yoga workouts, if you do other bodyweight workouts, you're going to build more muscle in your glutes. If you can do these and practice these repeatedly. All right, one more to each side, about 10 seconds to the left. Keep that back flat. And then to the right, 10 seconds over here. And then plant your feet, plant both feet, and stand up. All right, from here we're going to go into a wide-legged position. So take a wide stance, face the long edge of your mat, turn your toes slightly in, and now turn your right foot to face forward. Moving into a warrior two, push your left hip into your right hip, and then squeeze your glutes. Bring your butt under your torso. Don't let your butt poke out behind you. If you can really engage the glutes here, think about reaching your tailbone down, squeezing your glutes, kind of pressing them forward in the direction your hips are facing. Then you're going to get some really nice glute engagement out of this. As you breathe, go deeper into the pose. Continue to squeeze your glutes here. Remember, that's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to help you build muscle here. Squeeze the glutes. Bring your arms out in opposite directions, shoulder level. Look straight over your right middle finger. Now, if you can hold this, keep holding this. You've got about 30 more seconds. If this is too challenging, what I want you to do is inhale to straighten the front leg, and then exhale, bend back into it. So you can give yourselves little breaks by doing that repeatedly, or if you feel up to the challenge, just hold the pose. We've got about 15 seconds to go. Continue to squeeze your glutes. Again, that's where the growth is going to happen. And you want to make sure you're doing this consistently, 3 times per week, guys. If you can do that, you're going to notice results in just a couple weeks. All right, and then straighten the leg. We're going to pivot and switch sides. Right foot turns in, left foot turns out. Again, squeeze your glutes. Make sure that your hips are under the shoulders. Bend into your left knee. Your left knee tracks over the middle toes. Right hip presses into the left hip. Squeeze your glutes. You want to think about bringing your hips under your belly button, and that's what's going to help you engage the glutes. Make sure you're growing those muscles. Arms come out in opposite directions. Breathe in and out of your nose. If you feel like you're struggling, remember, come back to breathing in and out of the nose. That's going to help you hold it longer. That's going to help fight off that fight or flight response from your body. And this does take time to develop. You have to do this stuff consistently. So if you can't do it the first time you're doing the workout, then do it again. Keep doing these workouts. Again, 3 times per week. That's what's going to really help you. If you want to do the bending and straightening the leg, give yourself a little break. You can do that. You've got about 15 more seconds to go here. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your feet toward one another. Squeeze your thighs. 5 seconds, that's it. 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and release. Okay, guys, that's the end of the workout. If you want a quick cool down to do, I have a quick 10-minute cool down you can do on this YouTube channel. It's going to be right over here. Click there, follow along to that right now to help cool down.
and make yourself less sore the next day. Subscribe, turn on notifications. We've got new videos every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central here on the Manful Yoga YouTube channel. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment, share it with a friend if you found it helpful. And I also do have a brand new podcast we just launched called the Better Man Podcast. Check that out. Link in the description here. I'll see you guys in the next video.